It's happened, everybody. Years of... It isn't even like begging for anyone to do it, but prayer, I guess. I'm not a religious person, but I'm just like, please, somebody make a cheap electrostatic energizer so that I could recommend stacks and other electrostatic things, because they don't exist. It doesn't exist. This, I reviewed when I moved into this house, because I remember sitting out on the veranda in like 2020 with this fucking stacks. I don't remember your model number. It is, I can tell you the date code. It's 2018 date code on this. Damn, this thing is older than that. This was the cheapest electrostatic energizer you could buy brand new for the last 4 or 5 years. This used to be the thing, the SRM 252S. Look at it, a little cheap piece of shit made of tin, but it came from Japan, and it usually got bundled with the cheap electrostatic energizers. If you want to know what electrostatic energizers are, they're different and better. And also the Sennheiser Orpheus have always been that, even though Sennheiser doesn't make any fucking electrostatics besides the Orpheus, because they know they probably can't make it worse than the Orpheus, and they're just going to confuse everybody. Anyway, this is $900 fucking dollars. This little fucking portable. This thing was $350 or something absurd for what it is. And for the last 5 years, I just haven't even bothered. They don't even live down here. They live up in the fucking gallery, because I don't want them to get dusty, and I'm never going to take them out, because no one can actually afford to get, by the way, mouse pads in the description. No one actually afford to get an electrostatic, because even though the ear speakers themselves can be relatively affordable in the $500 range, or like the $300, this was your only fucking option. This portable, specifically portable, with a USB micro as your USB input. 2018, I guess I can give them a pass. And then I have it plugged in with a 3.5 millimeter coming from that Geshelli distribution jack. The Geshelli distribution jack powering literally everything on the desk right now, just to let you in on how important that is to me and this entire experience. So this fucking thing was $900. This thing disappeared. They just said, nah, you know what? We don't need to make a cheap one. Fuck it. Topping once again to the rescue. Topping made things that people aren't even asking for. Here's the thing. There aren't even that many electrostatic energizer like people out there. Like, that's a small niche thing. To be like, oh, I have electrostats. Yeah, stacks were super big since the 80s, whatever. And then, like, in the last couple years, you would think that, like, it would have popped up and there'd be, like, a resurgence. And there hasn't been. Because this went away. This was the only thing you could get. And it was way, way, way too much money for a portable. And then if you wanted to get an actual desk unit, I think now there's like one that's like $800 or $900 that Stax makes. But this, the EHA5, which looks like a Minecraft oven, this is $400. This is balanced input with pass-through outputs for RCA and XLR, 12-volt trigger, firmware update, USB-C, and it runs a little power supply over here. This thing in the metal box with the glass face that is just Minecraft oven. And the gold ring, this is $400. And at $400, it's going to stay on my desk. It's going to be available. It's going to be usable. I'm going to be able to take out, well, I'm not even going to take anything out. I'm just going to leave this here, whip out the fucking L700s, which are my baby, by the way, the most expensive headphones I've ever purchased. I got a little bit of a deal, but they were still over $1,000. So when you think Zeos hasn't bought any headphones, oh, I bought these. And I love them. But I haven't been able to use them because I can't show them off and be like, hey, everybody, if you want to get what I have, you have to, oh, wait, you have to spend so much. I'll explain the desk. I'll explain how big a deal this is. This is a huge fucking deal. Because I know you people. You people. That's right, you people. I know kind of relatively, like, if you're a super unaffordable budget, you're just getting to college, I got $80 to spend on a headphone, I can recommend, like, KPH40s and like maybe a closed back, but you're gonna have to save for it. And that you are not ready for electrostats. And then there are the people who are up there in the Mount Everest who are like, my hollow May is the wrong color. I'm going to have it custom painted a purple using the blood of bunny rabbits that have been extinct for 30 years. And you don't have to worry about it because you can just buy fucking anything. This is for the middle ground people. The people who want to get into audiophilia but don't want to be stuck, in the $120 range, but are deathly afraid of the $5,000 range. And you should be afraid of it. We should all be afraid of it. Because for $400, Topping has put out a box. It's just a box. It's a relatively handsome box. It also fits perfectly under an LA90, which is my headphone amp speaker amp that I use in this desk all the time. I brought out a wah 7 Fireflies, not the Electrostatic edition, because I'm using this and the X-Duo TA26, which are pure tube amps. I'm using them specifically because they both have line outputs. So you could take the tubey goodness and pass it on to something else, say an LA90 feeding into an Audiophile IDSL, or maybe an EHA5, which is a really, I don't like the, like LA90, 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 EHA5, EHA5, it doesn't work. However, it does stand for Electrostatic Headphone Amplifier 5. Don't know why it's a 5 and not the 1, unless we can expect like a 5, a 3, and a 1. Maybe they'll make a more expensive one. Maybe they'll make a 2-1, although Topping doesn't do tubes. Point being, I set this desk up meticulously with care because I needed to just assess the whole state of electrostatics right now. I whipped out the portable. I've been playing with it. Sounds like a portable. It does not sound like a top-of-the-line, good desktop solution. If you look, it's a miracle. If you want to take your electrostats out on your veranda, this is one of the first things that's ever allowed you to do that. And what I was doing is hooking it up to a little Bluetooth receiver because I'm not going to how am I going to USB micro? How, Stacks? Please update this to USB-C or give it Bluetooth, because I would just stick a Bluetooth module on it, and this was that is a very specific purpose for that asshole. Everyone else has been buying desktop solutions. Now, I have relied on the Audiophile IESL, which is specifically an electrostatic. Here's the thing. Amplifiers are amplifiers, and energizers are energizers, but you can use an amplifier to run an energizer via it being a converter. You follow me? Good, great. I'm glad this is working out. Like this here, the 252S, only signal in, only electrostatic ear speaker out. Same thing with the EHA5. Same thing with the WA7E for electrostats. Those are specific. This converter can plug in a regular balanced headphone, but all it's doing is passing through. So the LA90 here is getting signal. Everything's getting signal from the Gishelli Labs distribution DAC. But it's getting this signal, and it's pushing it through speaker wires up to this, and then it's being converted to the 580 volts that a electrostatic, at least stack-specific electrostatic need. And then you could adjust on this. There's lots of options. I really like this. There's tons of options. You could change the voltage. You could change the output terminations, the AC terminations, the impedance. This is a wild unit. It's like $1,500, $1,900. I think I got it for $900 like used. But so this was the solution. And this was everyone's solution because these were getting harder. And I know this is crap. You know how I know this is crap? Or at least not as good as it can get? Because someone years and years and years ago in my old apartment sent me one of these where they had taken it apart, stripped out all the cheap components, and replaced it with higher end components. Every capacitor, every resistor, everything was upgraded to better. And I had this one and I had his, and I literally was going boop, 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 boop. Oh yeah, no, it's so much better. So again, this is designed to be portable, so you're not going to get the greatest performance. This is designed to be cheap, and even if it's Japanese made, Stax was making like 8 energizers, so of course their cheapest one wouldn't be the best. The problem is, Topping never gives a fuck about outdoing everyone else for no reason and no money. When I did the WA7E Fireflies electrostatic energizer with tubes, I knew that at $1,300, it's still in the same ballpark range of everything else that's an electrostatic energizer. It's not allowing everyone to just, it's not opening the floodgates. This right here, which, by the way, is correct. I don't know why IFIs are always upside down. Like, this is correct. Single pin up on the wah, single pin up on this, single pin up on the fucking IFI, single pin down. This opens the floodgates because even if you're a moderate audiophile, if you bought one of these, you spent $400, maybe wait for it to go on sale in 6 months or so, just having it on your desk means you have the option for electrostats. And that's all you need is to be able to slide this along, put it beautifully into the, it fits perfectly amongst all the other very dark and drab and black things. That's why the anime stickers, because I'm so bored of it. You get to put it here, and it just gives you this option to actually use what is, according to Sennheiser and the Orpheus, which is the greatest headphone. I've heard it multiple times. I still think it's one of the best. This is the technology. It's real pain in the ass. I'm not going to go into what electrostatic means and how you got to keep dust off of it and how it's, you know, very, very fragile. But there's something about an electrostat. And anyone in the comments, feel free, by the way, if you have electrostats and you believe in them, or if you don't believe in them, you have an argument against it, go into the comments of this video and state your case for someone who is on the fence. Because I'm only one voice. And there's people down there, those are all the voices you need to listen to. Is electrostatic worth it? It depends on what you want. If you want crushing bass, probably not. But if you want diaphragms that move so fast that every fucking flute makes your eyes water, yes. So let's put this on my head. Let's unpause Johnny Mathis, A Certain Smile. So I've plugged from here to here, and the EHA5 is better. I've plugged from here to here, and the EHA5 is better. And then I started plugging from here to here, which this unit obviously doesn't stand on its own. You have to include an amplification source. So LA90 is no fucking slouch. It's pretty much my benchmark, even though it's not made by Benchmark. But it's a topping also, so. But this, running into this, with the settings all correctly changed as best I could do it, feeding off the same exact DAC, it's so close. I don't think, here, hold on, let's get off of Johnny Mathis. We'll do one last, Amber Rubath just started playing. Can't ask for better tracks than that. By the way, this does, I'll give you the quick rundown of this. You saw the back, XLR, RCA. Those are passed through only when the unit is powered off. There's no warm-up, really. It's just I don't believe there's going to be any warm-up. Like those, it looks like it's on fire in there, but it's not actually heating anything. It never gets warm. When you turn off the unit, those pass-throughs activate. So I actually have the Gishelli Labs DAC running into this, and when I shut it off, it runs out of this and into the LA90. So I can't have them both play at the same time. If I want to plug it from here to there, I got to go flip it off. Put it back to here, flip it on. Just like a woman, yes, she is. And now plug it in, and now flip this off. Is it close? Is this softer? Is it... Hold on, hold on. This might be more forward sounding. What does that mean? Don't know. Because I'm complicated the situation even further, by the way. Because this is not a complicated unit. Volume knob with indication. It's a nice knob, by the way. Off, balance, and single-ended switches. And high and low gain. Now, I've got two sets of electrostatic ear speakers. My L700s, and these are the SR207s, and I've turned them into the Ultras with a 3D printed mod, big pads. That's all I've got to test these with. And I can run them on low if I nail it to the top. So the only time I would say that you could try it on low gain is if you're doing what I'm doing with the tube amps. If I flip this to single-ended, now the TA26 is feeding the signal from the Gishelli Labs distribution deck into this, out of this, through the tube pre, into this. So now I have a preamped with a tube electrostatic ear speaker. So this is like a $300 unit. This is a $400 unit, so that's $700 in source gear, and you can get something as cheap as $400. That means for under $1,300, you could have a tube-pre solid-state electrostatic headphone complete fucking system, minus the DAC or whatever source you're going to use. I was tempted to take out the little tiny SMSL DAC that everyone was like, it's so cute. It's so cute. Now I could just balanced input, which is coming direct from the DAC. Now single-ended directly from this loop, and I could hear the difference. I wanted to make sure I could hear the difference using this with different inputs. Like it's the same DAC, one's balanced input from there, and one's single-ended, but the single-ended is running through a tube, and I could tell you it gets softer and wider, which is all I ask a tube to fucking do. Now, it's more extreme if I do the WA7 Fireflies, which is also here on the second input, so now I don't have to switch this off. I can just do this. Now it's softer and warmer, because this is now sending signal to this before it sends signal to this and sends it out. Just like that's... Topping is disruptive. The brand itself loves to fuck with things, and it took them years to get here because it was sort of like SMSL topping were on the same levels, and there were some other like ones out there. I can't remember the name of them. Who remembers those cheap amps? Because we've got a couple coming up that it's reminding me of like the start of this channel, and I love it. Like real brawlers, like $70-$80 speaker amps. I can't wait to fight them. But topping just... It's like the Ford Raptor. No one asked Ford to make the Raptor. Hey, can you make a pickup truck that people can buy that we could drive 100 miles an hour off-road? No one asked Ford for that. Ford just fucking did it, and now everyone else has to copy it. So now Topping steps up with their big dick energy, and it's just like, hey, electrostatics are now affordable again. And everyone else, from this moment on, is going to fucking scramble. Because they're like, oh shit, Topping made the move. The big boys made the move. SMSL will have one in probably less than 6 months. I'm waiting for Matrix Audio to come out with something that's like, because theirs will be expensive. But I mean, EHA5 has been sort of like the ones, I would say leading the way, but they put out one unit and then sort of like went, meow, meow, meow. But this is it. This is the one that's going to change the scale of everything. Because now what we need is more electrostats. Once this comes out, it'll already spark. All of China is going to decide they all need to make electrostatic energizers, and I can't wait. There'll be some tube ones. There'll be X-Duo will probably come out with one. I'm predicting an X-Duo tube electrostatic energizer within 18 months. They're a little bit slower, but I'm predicting that. What we need, because Stax won't do it, even though Stax is now owned by Edifier, which is Chinese. Stax is a Japanese brand. Stax makes the ear speakers, but their bottom line, their money is coming from Edifier. So if they're paying attention, because the Chinese are quicker to move than the Japanese. If you watch anything to do with like Trash Taste with them, like Japanese are slow to adapt, slow to see trends, they're just slow. Everything's still written on paper, for fuck's sake. I'm thinking that we're going to see a resurgence of affordable, cheaper electrostatic ear speakers, because they're called ear speakers, because I started our ear speakers on Reddit, so I have to respect that. This is going to be a thing. We're going to have a thing, and I can't fucking wait, because I reviewed a couple of like those weirdo ones, like the one that was made in India with the wires exposed, and there was the one that was made by that dude that I had to like touch it against a thing and like wave my hands in the air, and then it would work really well. And I can't wait for everybody to start making electrostatic ear speakers again, because this indicates you can afford to buy this. It's a game we could play. At its full price, it's $400. If it drops in sale for $350, that's the same price as Sundara. That's the same price. That's half the cost of the LA90D. It's already half the cost of the LA90D at full price. This is big. This thing here. And I can't wait to see where we're going with it. Now, will electrostats work for everybody? No. Will they work for audiophiles? Or they should at least be on the wall of everyone who's got more than... If you have 5 headphones, your 6 should be electrostatic. I can now say that without saying, oh, you got to spend an extra $2,500 to even get into this game. It was such a high cost of admission. And Topping fucked everybody up. So thank you, Topping, for fucking everything up. Thank you to Apos for sending this out. I'm going to link to Apos for this. I'm linked to Woo Audio for his Fireflies, actually either this one or the Electrostatic one. I'm going to link to Stax Audio, which is where you can get this, or Audio 46 has a bunch of them too. I'm going to start to gather up where all these things are because I want to watch as it happens. I'm going to watch as it fizzles into existence. It's perfect on the mouse desk pad, by the way. Get this desk pad, a link in the description. The reason I started using like mouse pads and like I spent $500 on fucking mouse pads is because I needed to always have something that you guys could afford to buy because everything's been getting more expensive and you need to interact with the video. So I'm like, well, what if I put like a $25 succubus mouse pad? I wouldn't need to have done this if things like this started coming out, because a $400 electrostatic energizer, in my brain, which is only my brain, is actually a fucking affordable thing. So you can buy this, but everything's been going this price and this price and this price. So thanks to all those things, this became a thing. So go buy that. Patreon subscribe star support this channel. There was other things I wanted to say. Patreon supports this channel. $5 a month, you get to see these reviews early. Participate in yard sales from the 1st to the 10th of every month where I ship internationally for half price and Canada, USA for free. And get to the sound demos losslessly and without limitations, and any of the shows like I did Expona. I'm going to do Munich, and I still have the footage from Capital Audio Fest, which wasn't a sponsored trip, so I just sort of like nonchalantly took footage. But that all might be ending up in the Sound Demo Oasis, because when they're playing music at shows, it's nigh on impossible to edit that out unless I just do a voiceover. And it's just so much easier. Just be like, hey, if you're a patron, go get it. Go get it. So that's $5 a month. $10 a month puts you in the private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat where you can buy, sell, and trade gear. I've got some new sponsors coming up that I'll be doing sponsor bits for. Thankfully, that wallpaper's in the wallpaper hoard because this shit is fire. Anyway, thank you, Topping, for doing something that I've been praying to the gods for, and no one else has, or someone must have been, and pulling it off. And pulling it off in a way that makes it look fucking intense. Insert terribly anti-Semitic joke.